Making comparative bar graphs is a little tricky on StatCrunch, so I've actually made a document, and I'm showing you this document, kind of talking through it on Google, that I will share on the resources, notes and resources page. So what if you wanted to make a comparative bar graph? Now, if we were drawing them by hand, we'd draw them as double bars, but you can't get side-by-side bars on StatCrunch. You can only get one bar graph below the other, so I'll show you this one. So let's say you wanted to investigate superpower, but you wanted to compare it by gender. So you wanted to see how did the different genders choose the superpowers. You want to choose separate graph for each group, and because we're comparing groups that may not be of like sizes, I want to compare percents within each category. Also, you can, if you want to see the graphs on the same page, you have to either choose 2 rows per page or 2 columns per page. I use the same y-axis. The reason x-axis is grayed out here is because when you're doing categorical data, the x-axis is just categories, so there is no scale involved. So this is what it comes out looking like. It makes a separate bar graph for females and males, but it does have the different superpowers stacked one below each other. Instead of side-by-side bar graphs, they're on top of each other, so you can make a direct comparison. Notice it's important to have the same y-scale so that the size of the bars can be easily compared. So that's how you would make a double bar graph. Next, I'm going to look at how do you make a segmented bar graph. Now that turns out a little more nicely on StatCrunch, although it's a little counterintuitive about the way you would group them. Let's say I want to look at how vegetarians and non-vegetarians choose superpowers. So I want to know, do the vegetarians choose different superpowers than the non-vegetarians? Is there an association between them? Now in this case, I'm going to use the things that you want your 2 main bars to be are in this category. So the vegetarians are going to be the 2 bars, the non-vegetarian and the vegetarian. And then the segments in the bars are going to be superpower. I did it backwards first and it looked kind of odd, so then I had to change that. So that's the part I think is a little counterintuitive. So basically the grouping by is the segments within the bar, and this is the main bars. Now to get it to be a segmented bar graph, you choose stack bars, and you have to choose percent within category. That's important. There's another option for percent, but you want specifically percent within category, so you have to scroll down a bit in this drop-down menu to find that. And this is how it turns out, which is really nice, very colorful, very easy to read. So we notice here that in my particular random sample that I took, that vegetarians tend to choose telepathy, about twice as many of them, or sorry, fly, and they choose flying about twice as much as the vegetarians do, and the vegetarians choose freeze time by quite a bit more than the non-vegetarians. So there is an association. I think that's all. Yep, that's it. So those are the things you want to choose. And I guess I didn't really specifically say, but you start out by going to, under graphs, you go to bar plot with data. So that's how you get it started, and then there's the 2 different comparative graphs you can make.